You, my friends, are listening to Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Going to jump into these charts right away, see what's going on. First, we jump into the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin. Let's spend most of our time in the weekly chart since that's what we are actually looking at. What do we see going on with Bitcoin? Well, this is the 24-hour-a-day chart, as I said, so it's tracking Bitcoin constantly. On the weekly chart, we can see how things have been slowly but surely pushing up, a little bit more readable and presentable than what we are typically looking at, which is, of course, XBTF. We can see where we've had these pullbacks that appear to be more dramatic, but again, these up movements you can see every other week. Now, again, going back to the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin is down a little bit for the day, but you can see instead of every other week it just dropping off, we can see where we have 1 week last week where we have that doji, and then again this week starting really popping up a good bit, but pulling back at the same time as far as the candlestick body goes. But Bitcoin is slowly but inexorably, it appears, trying to put on a little steam and move up. Again, what have we seen happen since the beginning of the year? We saw toward the end of last year where Bitcoin made a little false start, then down. But then starting in January, this first week, you really see it in the second week, things popped up, rolled up, and then cut out your legs out from under you. Popped up again for 2 weeks, then cut your legs way out from, which scared the you-know-what out of you when it really rolled over that week beginning the 6th of March. Then started taking off again, but again, you can see these sort of jumping in weeks. Bitcoin makes a large part of the total gain just during the course of that week, and then slowly moves up, then rolls over and down. And this is even worse, the last up move, where it covered everything that week. And then for 3 weeks, sort of moved sort of up, but again, just about the same tops, even on the candle bodies themselves, then rolled over. This is getting a little better, moving up. We have some spinning top. We have spinning top here. We've got some down movement even this week. You can see it there at the bottom. And of course, last week a doji. But overall, trying to continue to track up, which is good. Now look at Ethereum, the complete opposite. Ethereum went up 2 weeks and then rolled over, going back down. Similar pattern. Again, remember the big dog that drags everything with it so much of the time is Bitcoin. You can see where the Ethereum started moving up, same way in January, first week in January this year. Moved up, rolled back, again that week of March the 6th, scaring you to death when it rolls over. Then pops up again, same kind of thing, somewhat similar, except here lately. So we'll keep an eye on Ethereum. Now, nothing can we see at all. I just took the trend line off because I can't find a trend. We saw where, and again, this is Bitwise, top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share. And what's it been doing the last many weeks? Just sort of sliding sideways, down last week, up this week, down for the day. Don't know what any of that means. So can't find much of a pattern to do anything off of there. Although the nice thing about this one is at least the moves up were a little more trackable. So, and don't forget, where are we when it comes to, what's going on with Bitcoin? Remember, Bitcoin is the big dog here, and it is by far and apart the largest contributor to the crypto indexes, and this is a crypto index fund weighted as per market share. But look at how hard it is to find anything, which again makes me wonder about Bitcoin too. So that's where we are in the crypto market. Let's leave there and go to commodities. Take a look at what's happening there. Now we'll start off first with the United States Gas Fund. Of course, when gas was spiking up last time back in mid-September, it's nice to see it rolling over since then, up 2.4% for the day. And a spinning top here, maybe that's about to change in gas. But again, for the last 3 weeks prior, running down quite nicely. Look at oil overall. Oil down for 2 weeks. This week, moving up. May portend where gas is going. Let's move on to, well, lastly, in the energy sector, we can look at where natural gas is. Nat gas has been sort of at its lows here for quite a while. These last 2 weeks prior to this week, moving up, just flat for the day as far as nat gas goes right now. We'll see as we get into the winter, depending on how things go in both the Middle East and in Eastern Europe, with Russia's delivery of natural gas being cut off and with Germany and other European powers really hurting for it. Norway can provide it. We can provide it. The Russians can provide it. We'll see just what happens. A cold winter in Europe might see nat gas prices go crazy. Next, we'll take a look at copper. Copper, again, used in so many industrial processes. Look at it. Just still moving down. Let's go to wheat. A lot of the world lives off wheat. Well, it looks like wheat is slowing down in its down movement. Again, we'll see what that portends. Last 2 times it took off, didn't last very long, did it? Like not just last 2 times. 1, 2, 3, sorta, 4, 5, 6, a few weeks there. I mean, when it peaked back in February and then again in March, but for these sort of bump ups a little bit, just kept trundling down. Soybeans, again, like we saw with wheat, soybeans this week popping up. We'll see where that leads us. What about silver? After a few weeks of down movement in silver, where silver had moved up quite nicely starting back in mid-March until the beginning of May, then it died on the vine, tried to pop up again in July, and then down and tried to pop up again, actually did pop up again, near those July highs in August, and then rolling over, trying to pop up again. We'll see where that takes us. Let's see, that is it. We're back to natural gas. Let's head from commodities over to currencies. We'll start with the euro. Look at that, still going down. We saw where the euro and many of the other currencies tried to pop up in mid-July or so and then died on the vine after that. We look at what happened to Canada. Again, mid to late July, dropping off. Had a couple of weeks where it tried to move up in September. And then, of course, heading down. We go to the Swiss franc. Many weeks of down movement, last 2 weeks up for the Swiss franc. What about the Japanese yen? Still on that downward trajectory. British pound still heading down. So that is where we are, folks, as we see the world struggling against the U.S. dollar. We see where commodities are. We see what's going on with cryptocurrencies. The reason I bring you this is help you to sort of break out of the box of just looking at the stock market, just looking at stock market related ETFs, maybe throwing in gold like we do every day, and Bitcoin, but looking at a broader view of both countries and how their currencies are doing, in addition to commodities, and of course, not only Bitcoin, but on that 24-hour AJ chart, Ethereum, and then that index fund that shows you the top 10 cryptocurrencies. That's where we are. So appreciate you being with us. Always love to hear from you. Patreon members, thank you so much for your support. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.